Welcome to the Face2Face series presented by UniApply. I am Ash Babel. Here we have discussion with school leaders telling us more about the school to make an insightful decision for the parents. Today we have Mrs. Jayshree Venkatraman, Principal of SNBP International School, Rahatani. She will be helping us to know more about the school. So ma'am, can you please tell us about the vision of school?
Vision of SNBP has been to offer a holistic education to children, which comprises typically of not only academic enhancement, it's also about skills, about the right kind of attitude, the kind of Indian ethos embedded in it. So it's a wholesome package that we believe in, and that's precisely why our founder, Dr. D.K. Bhosle, thought of calling it an activity-based schools, because academics within the classroom just talks about books and whatever is there within the framework of a textbook or the curriculum. But when you talk about activities, it is about the sky is the limit.
Right.
And children on the ground also learn so much about team building, leadership, collaborative learning. So it's so amazing about, talking about SNBP as a concept of an activity-based school.
So like more concentrated on holistic development of a child.
Absolutely true.
Okay. And ma'am, talking about like as we have seen during COVID, a lot of people, like all the schools went from offline to online. So how school and the teachers and students even adapted with this change?
See, about students, I always knew that they can, because if you at all there are any specific group who are best adaptable, then they are students. So children were very, very fast in adapting. But I was personally amazed at the way teachers adapted to the learning platform or the teaching platform. It was just a revolution in the field of education. Okay, it's thanks to their adaptability, and it's not just about my school. I think every school did it, and so brilliantly. And a veteran educationist like me, who generally believed that teachers these days are not as passionate, I think we were all proved wrong. Because the teachers were so enthusiastic about learning and adapting to this new platform. And thanks to their enthusiasm, I think every school management pitched in and did their support system on offering various platforms that we see now.
Right. So ma'am, in online classes, how were you taking care of like activities like art and craft, sports and things like this?
Yes, initially it was pretty challenging, but then even during this online classes, I remember conducting various events which involve art and craft. Because children were asked to do a lot of things at home which were available with them, and they did it and they presented it on the online platform. We evaluated, assessed them, and then gave them prizes. So all those things also happened. Even in sports, we had sports day celebration, even online.
Oh,
because we
great.
wanted to check the resilience, the kind of strength that they had, the inner core strength that they had when they did sit-ups or pull-ups and things like that. All this online assessments also happened because they were timed. There was timer for every event. Like Surya Namaskar was designated for a given class. So how many Surya Namaskars were done by children per minute was observed. And all those things also happened. So it was all about learning how to adapt.
Right.
And then you had a lot of options available. So I think, yes, COVID definitely was a bane, a curse, which all of us suffered from. But the fact remains that it enabled all of us to evolve.
Right.
So it left behind a lot of learning. I hope it is left behind, and it's kind of
we really
we're
hope
just
so.
hoping it's a endemic that we are now seeing.
Right.
But the fact remains that there has been a lot of learning for all of us.
Correct. And ma'am, if we talk about technology, so in context of admissions also, there was any movement that you have seen?
Amazing. I think things shifted online. People started visiting our websites, and thanks to UniApply, I think you came up at just at the right time to support the cause of admissions to parents, to schools. So I think you just came at the right time as a ray of hope.
It's good that we were helpful to the school. Ma'am, talking about innovation and experiment, how have you inculcated these two things in your curriculum?
The first thing that happened in our school here was we thought it made no sense to have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday timetable. We called it day 1, day 2 to day 6 timetable. Okay, there was a reason to it. Suppose a Wednesday, like suppose it's a day 3 is a holiday. Then the day 3 timetable is followed the next day.
Okay.
So that way it becomes a cyclic in nature. Okay, thereby the loss of days, okay, academic loss of days is taken care of. There are times when you have 2 periods of maths on a Wednesday and 2 consecutive Wednesdays that have been a holiday thanks to the festivals, especially in the month of August, September, when you have series of holidays. So then what happens is then the loss is immense for a given class where there are block periods. Okay, and then a teacher comes end of the month, she says, yeah, in this particular class I have a lag, so I might as well do 1 or 2 extra classes to fill in that gap. But that is more of a compromise. So we thought the day 1, day 2 concept kind of takes care of that. So this was one initiative that was taken as a part of initiative on the administrative part. Even now, during the online classes, we realized there were a lot of learning outcome kind of check getting missed. Because in a class, a teacher is freely moving in the class.
Right.
She is able to judge whether the child has learned, not learned, because she's going to be going around checking on what notes the child has made while she's teaching. But online had its gap, right?
Right.
And teacher wouldn't even know. So what we did is after every class, after every school, the end of the day, 5 children were roll number wise, were asked to stay back, okay, for an extra hour with a subject teacher.
Okay.
And a learning outcome check was made. So we called it the LOC class.
Amazing.
Yeah, so the teacher was able to evaluate whether social studies, it would be a social studies teacher checking her 5 children. Parallelly, an English teacher will check another 5 students of that class. Maths teacher checks. So that way there was a very beautiful bonding that happened.
Right.
And of course, learning also improved greatly because there was a motivation that teacher is addressing me one-on-one, just 5 of us, an exclusive time. So that was one initiative that was taken to ensure kind of minimizing the learning, lesser of learning happening in classes. So that was one thing. Even otherwise, during the offline times that we had, glorious period we had, we actually developed movies. Okay, like I scripted movies like The Black Hole, okay, where the script was to talk about demonetization, how it was to affect the society and how we are kind of discouraging black money in the market. So this was more about that, and we had children enacting in it. So that was it. Then we had a movie on X Factor, which was talking about teacher. Then we had a movie on Life 2030 that was talking about the AI, how it is going to affect life for us moving forward. And then there was one movie on the ill effects of cyber. Okay, so that was about, we called it invisible adversary, because it is encroaching into our personal lives so much so that we need to be aware and conscious of how it is affecting our lives. So we had children enacting it
Okay.
in it, and these movies can be found in YouTube. So these were some innovations, and of course I have scripted. I have authored few books on
Okay.
parenting. Now we called it Parvarish Adhyay 1 because it was related to children of younger age.
Right.
How to how to handle these children, as to ensure that the happiness quotient is taken care of while rearing them up without the fear of losing. Because I suppose winning and losing is part of life. So are our children really oriented towards losing? Because every child wants to win and every parent wants his child to win. So
Right.
that's not the fact of life, right? I think if I am not allowing my child to experience failure, I think I have not allowed him to experience life.
Failure is the best teacher that we can
Absolutely.
say.
So those kind of tips we have shared with our parents. So we had this parenting workshops and this book Parvarish also handle that. I also authored a book called GPS, Global Positioning Script,
Okay.
a navigator to your own true self. This was for career counseling for children.
Okay.
So children wanting to pursue their higher studies, they need to know their own skill sets.
Right. Right.
Okay, their own interests. Okay, before they embark into the learning program, because unfortunately now what has happened is the qualifying the score of your 10th, 12th or your competitive exams are the determining factor of your getting admission in a given program.
Right.
Imagine a situation where a child has got into medicine and is going to pursue this course for 5 years but is intolerant. Because that tolerance aspect has not been tested.
Right.
The resilience has not been tested. The child's scores are tested, are the only benchmark to assess whether the child is suited for medicine or engineering in the premier institutes.
Right.
So having said that, I felt it is very, very essential that children should know what course they should enroll into, knowing their own. By the age of 16, 17, children know their strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
Okay, and because ultimately a career is all about enjoying your life.
Agreed.
If you are in a career which kind of compels you to every time look for a weekend, then I'm sure you are not suited for the job.
Right. Right.
So having said that, I thought this was a small contribution made towards the society.
Ma'am, I want to know one secret from you. As in this campus, there is a strength of 6,000 students. How are you managing it so beautifully?
School is actually the temple of learning. Right? Just like every temple, wherein more number of devotees visiting the temple, more vibrant the temple becomes. In the same way, a school, more number of students studying, I think more vibrant the school becomes. So that is how I see it. And it doesn't just get restricted to students. All of us learn. There's so much of learning that happens when there is an interaction among the group of teachers. And I think all of us learn together. And when you learn, there is a lot of humility.
Right.
You can't be arrogant when you learn. You have to have that humility in you. I suppose overall there is a very, very beautiful ambience that gets built, which enables learning to happen overall. And moreover, for parents, I could possibly be one school which could identify a genius as compared to any other school in the neighborhood. Primarily because I have a database like that. When I'm saying a 10-year-old is exceptionally skilled in a given skill,
Right.
then I have a database of 400 children or 399 children to compare with that child.
Right.
That kind of a database possibly not many schools would have.
Right.
Right? So when a certificate from a school like mine is given to a parent which tells that your child is exceptionally good in a given skill, then it has definitely a great value.
Correct.
So that's how it is. And we celebrate it every time.
Right. Ma'am, another question is that how is this school different from other school in the city and the vicinity?
I wouldn't know because I don't believe in comparing and contrasting.
Okay.
I think I as a school, if I were to ask a parent of today to seek admission for their awards in the right school, then I would advise them, tell them that they should see a school which is open to innovation, newness. It has a very, very open approach to learning.
Right.
Okay, because a school has to be ever evolving. A structured, conditioned school
Right.
is far from going to help a child of 21st century. Right? I think now geographical barriers have melted. Children are going to go out of the country to seek employment. India being the youngest country, I think we are going to be the workforce provider for the world in next 10 years. So how can I condition my children to just believe that whatever is learnt in my structured framework is all that they need to learn? So I think openness, innovation, creativity has to get nurtured in schools. So parents typically should see schools like that for their children, because I suppose that is what gives them the right wings to fly.
Right. So thank you, ma'am. And this was a very insightful conversation, and I hope it will be helpful for all the parents watching this.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to be interacting with you.
Thank you so much.